Hi, Brant Cooper here. This week we're going to do a segment called Startup Jam. It's when I bring on an entrepreneur or a corporate innovator and they tell me about an issue that they're facing and we try to tackle it head on, trying to get them moving forward again to create value in the world. Let's get to it. So, hey everybody, today I'm joined by Hiten Keshave, who is CEO and founder of Shop Online Today. They are a startup, the real deal, in Johannesburg, South Africa. So again, I am going international here, and over the weeks or months, Keshav or Hiten and I have had several conversations around startups in general, but also on his specific startup. So we're going to dive into the market segmentation work, because I just really think that this is one of the harder things to figure out. And so I had Hiten check out that survey tool, Heat Check. And so we're going to run through that and see if we can nail down some of those definitions. So, hey, Hiten, thanks for joining.
How's it, Brant? Thanks for having me, man. It's a pleasure joining you.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. So why don't you give, the super brief pitch on what the story is with your startup?
So basically, Shop Online Today is a online marketplace that supports local, small, medium-sized businesses to promote their businesses, their products and their services to customers, and customers in return can transact on the platform and purchase products and services that are provided by local, small, medium businesses. Our whole objective is to create brand awareness for small, medium businesses, young entrepreneurs, startups in that space. That's us in a nutshell.
Yeah, great, awesome, well done. So the first part of the survey, as always, is for you to take a stab at describing who your ideal customer is. And so typically what we try to do is come up with 2 or 3 statements, and what you want to be able to do is your customer reads that and they go, okay, yep, that's me. So if I ask you that question, who is your ideal customer? I guess you've got a marketplace, so maybe you have 2 sides. I don't know, but you tell me.
So from a marketplace perspective, from a store's perspective, we've positioned this for early stage businesses or young entrepreneurs or businesses that are looking to scale up and grow, to find other avenues that they can access customers to. So in light of that, if I had to categorize it from a revenue perspective, we've looked at it, and probably our cutoff threshold we've said is a business that's earning up to a maximum probably of 15 million rand a year in turnover itself, or is in early stage phase, so probably in the first 1 to 5 years of business, and they're looking to scale and grow there. So that there would be our B2B market segment. From a B2C perspective, there's still a lot of homework there that we're trying to do this. However, the one key thing I believe will be the differentiator here would be for those individuals who are willing to support a local, small, medium business out there versus your well-known branded corporate blue chip guy out there. So certainly there's an emotional attachment linked to it from a consumer perspective. That part there still has a lot of homework to be done on it, and I guess we'll only get that as we go into field trials and
so that's
from a feedback.
It's all homework, man. The homework never stops, and so it's interesting because I actually like your second description more than I like the first one. And it really is because of the emotional component to it. And so, like I talk about all the time, when you first are starting to seek your traction, narrowly defining your market segment is better than broadly doing it, because that enables you to find people that are the most likely to adopt your product, because you know them so well and you know where to go to find them, and you actually can recognize them when you see them. And so in my opinion, on the business side, it's you've just simply how many businesses in all of South Africa, how many businesses do you think are making that amount of revenue? Under, what did you say? Under 15?
Under 15 million itself. So in
Right.
terms of just the SME market itself, South Africa has 2.5 million formally registered businesses, of which we've narrowed that number down to probably 700,000 in total. That is the serviceable market, for a better word.
Right.
In
So
that.
it's a great example of using, target markets and service markets, and we've narrowed down our market to 700,000. Okay, all I got to do is go convince 700,000. I mean, it's insane. It's like we don't even understand the quantity, what that number represents. It's huge. It's like, I got to go to the beach and pick up a bunch of sand. I mean, it's like it's just way too big to focus on. And so, in my opinion, what you want to do is, even on the business side, is to get to some sort of emotional component of a traditional, or of a great example of a small business that would be the first to adopt your platform. And so you can start thinking about, like, you and I talked briefly about how your family has, just always been entrepreneurial, which is awesome. But it's quite possible that your, I don't know, your uncles or your grandparents or even your parents who are entrepreneurial, the first thing that they're going to think of is not to go to a digital platform, because they've been running their business the way they've been running their business for decades, and they maybe produce as much revenue as they needed to do. They created successful human beings, adults like yourself, and they're like, okay, yeah, that's good. We served our purpose in life. And so you spending a bunch of time trying to sign those people up for your platform is maybe not ideal, right? And so that sort of begs the question then, like, no, not what is your addressable market. Who are the 10 companies? What about those 10 companies that you think you can go sign up tomorrow? Who is the early adopter? Who's the one who's most eager to go, like, yes, this platform is the right way for me to grow my business?
I think you've hit the nail on the head. Certainly, one of the learning curves over the past month, based on our current go-to-market strategy, which has been, from a B2B perspective, which has been alliances with chambers. The feedback in terms of the customer acquisition cycle has been a very lengthy one, and I've tried to narrow down that list of potential clients, for a better word, that have been shortlisted, who we've approached, who we've discussed, to try and further segmentize them, to say, okay, fine, these guys fit in this bracket from a revenue earning perspective, from a number of years in business aspect, and also just in terms of age group of the owner itself, there, to then determine whether, is there a specific trend that's currently happening here that shows that we're actually focusing on the incorrect market. And from that information that I've managed to gather, I certainly agree with you that we've had to segmentize this market even further down to be a lot more specific and focused there.
Right. So that's what we want out of that survey, because that's a great way for you to differentiate between which some of those characteristics and attributes of business owners would be sort of ideal. I think that one thing that's interesting for the audience to know is that the chambers of commerce in South Africa are super important, right? Because they are really kind of the backbone of an area for the businesses there that are trying to succeed. And you know, this is an emerging economy. And so the chambers end up being this connection to funding and to the federal government that actually supports capitalism and free market businesses in the heart of these different cities in South Africa. So it's super interesting. And so I love that, Hiten. You definitely need to nail it down into the market segments. And I think it's what the survey is designed to do, and what my methodology is designed to do, is fully admit that we don't know. We don't know yet. We're working on it. And so we want to create hypotheses. We think it's this market segment, and then we need to go and test that. And it's this ability to do quick iterations on that, where there's some evidence that comes from the marketplace, which is what indicates whether we're going down the right path or not. And I also think that what's interesting about it, and maybe you can say a word about it, is that if you actually think about, like, again, I like your consumer side, people that want to shop local. Well, what do they want to buy? Like, what do they want to buy online? And you can start actually narrowing down the type of products that they want. And then that's actually going to speak back to what are the type of businesses then, right? So you're even narrowing it down further, saying, okay, this group of buyers really kind of tends to want to buy, you know, the XYZ online. Now I can go back to, okay, small businesses within this particular district. So this, you know, where is represented by a particular chamber of commerce. Businesses that are in this district, they've got younger owners who understand the importance of digital technology. They sell these type of products, which I've already validated customers want to buy. And now you're sort of focusing in, you're getting narrow. And so to the point that you really want to be able to identify specific stores, 10, 15, 20 specific stores. And now I can reach out to them individually and work with them to get them on the platform and see if we can drive sales.
That's not a bad idea there, Brent. Certainly, the idea we thought was to try and create a centralized go-to, for example, better word, a digital mall, where it's like a one-stop shop in that space. But I guess at this stage as well, we were probably thinking, oh, one step too big at a startup phase. So narrowing it down further, certainly, I do agree. It's something that I'll consider when chatting with my.
How did Amazon start?
Yeah, exactly. Selling books.
I mean, so it's again, we can look at the Alibabas of the world and the Amazons of the world now and go like, oh, well, we should sell everything. But it's not actually how they got started. And so if you create a great experience for people that are selling whatever you decide, if you create a great experience for those small businesses and for the customers that are buying it, that's actually what gives you traction. And that's actually what gives you momentum. And then that actually is what brings in investors. And so then that allows you to then take the money and expand that. And you can expand it either within that one district and start selling other stuff, or you can start moving that model around to the other districts. So again, you know, I've said it a gazillion times, having a huge vision is important. You guys have landed an angel investor. If all you talked about, you know, yeah, we want to get these small businesses to sell, you know, toilet paper online, you'd kind of be like, okay, that's a limited business, right? It's not that sexy. So you want to be able to sell the big vision. But the go-to-market strategy has to be sort of narrowly focused and something that you can execute actually on a daily basis, that you can make progress by picking up the phone if you have to. And so not worrying about the automation and the scaling and all of that, it's really worrying about creating a great experience for your first 10 customers. So there was this, I'll tell a really quick story here before we go on to the next part, but there's an entrepreneur that I was helping in Madison, Wisconsin, and he had this cool technology where you'd pick an article, you're shopping for clothes online, and you'd pick one article of clothing and you'd hit a shuffle button and it would complete the wardrobe. So see if they could sell the whole wardrobe instead of that one item. And I was mentoring this guy and I thought, hey, this is pretty cool. We were in Madison, Wisconsin, summer day, beautiful outside, thousands of people. This is pre-pandemic. So thousands of people in the street. And I said, well, how can I help you? And he said, I need 1,000 customers. I said, how many do you have? And he said, 0, I don't have any. And I go, you don't need 1,000, you need 1. You need, you can't get to 1,000 without getting 1. You have to go find 1. I said, go out onto those streets right now and push that shuffle, or find 1 person that's willing to push that shuffle button. Right? That's actually how you get started. You literally get started by pounding the pavement and going and finding those first customers. So, all right. So that's all cool. That's my rant there. But I want you to go back and we'll circle back around this, but I want you to go back and, if you would please, and redo 3 market segment descriptions, and do it from the perspective of I'm the small business owner. So like, hi, I'm the small business owner and I'm this, and what are my characteristics, attributes, and behaviors that would indicate to you, wow, this person is ideal. And you do 2 or 3 different versions of that, and then you send that survey out to people you think are in the market, and they will identify or not identify with those statements. And that allows you to iterate and focus in. But I want to tackle the next part, which is the problem statement. And so what do you believe, for thinking about your ideal market, what are the top 2 or 3 real needs that they have? And it can be during this current crazy time, right? What are the top needs that they have that your platform hopes to address at some point?
So the first major need is access to customers for small businesses to sustain themselves, or those who are looking to grow. Customers, any new form of channel to market there would be something we feel that they would certainly go for. So that would be the one aspect. Tied to that, having online presence is certainly the trend going forward, where people are going to be moving towards this whole habit of online shopping and that. So it's all well and good having a website and some social media profile pages and that. However, you still have to drive consumer traffic to that there, which means that you have to invest in some digital marketing strategies and that. And for smaller businesses, it can sometimes be a costly expense that doesn't really reap the return on investment on that end there. So what we've done is gone in with a low-cost platform, low-cost pricing model.
Don't get to solution yet. Let's focus on the problem side. And so,
sure.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
Cool. Fair point. So certainly that's the other aspect there is a lot of smaller, medium-sized businesses, they don't have the budget to go and invest heavily into a digital marketing strategy and have someone manage that effectively for them. So those are the 2 core critical pain points that we see.
Yeah, so that's, I actually still think that affects a lot of small businesses here. What do you think is where are you guys in your life cycle in terms of the ease of getting a decent website up? Is that still difficult? Like, boy, it's really easy to put up a crappy website, but it's still kind of hard to put up a good one, at least one that has, the necessary contact forms and maybe even a way to buy or whatever. So what do you, in your opinion, what's sort of the state of the economy there in terms of being able to get some sort of presence up?
So the likes of Shopify, there's another local platform called Shop to Commerce. They provide these ready-made bootstrap template websites. So you certainly can get a decent-looking website with the basic functionalities that can give you a decent user experience going. And you can also set up your online shops on those websites there itself. But then again, at the same time, having that website though, when you go onto the Google search engine, as an example, if you're not in that top five list bracket there, it's unlikely you're going to get a lot of traffic going onto that platform.
Yeah, super interesting. Yeah, so that's a great distinction. They can get their website up, but it really gets back to what you said earlier. It's the lacking the digital marketing side of it. What about the purchase side of it? Like, are these online only businesses, or they tend to be brick and mortar shops that want to come online?
So these are a combination of online businesses only and brick and mortar businesses who are shifting towards the online trend to accommodate for the change in shopping behavior patterns that have arisen, not now, well, especially in light of this pandemic that's happened now. So it's a combination of both there in that space. Um, when you're moving towards online shopping, there is quite a bit of administrative burden, for a better word, from a business perspective, where you have to facilitate often transport, logistics side of things. You need to facilitate for returns on those things there, and that can be an administrative nightmare for you as a business owner if you don't have the right systems and processes in place as well.
So do you help with those components?
Yes, so that we certainly help with those components as well. So we do the logistics and last mile fulfillment aspect on behalf of the stores, and in terms of the returns aspect, we facilitate for a digital wallet that allows for stores to do refunds for any products that customers say they're unhappy with, and you can use the platform, do a refund, it goes back to the customer into their digital wallet, and the customer can go and transact and purchase a new product from there.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So again, I think we drilled in a little bit, and it actually sort of makes me think about your market segments again, because I'm wondering if, during the pandemic, it's the non-savvy small business that knows that they have to get savvy quickly in order to survive would not be sort of the early adopters right now, because they're it's based on survival, and they know they need to do it, but they're more lost than some of the other market segments. But regardless, maybe you throw that in as one of your market segments, maybe not, but the problems I think you boiled down to were super good, right? So it's not really just about the presence; it's about driving sales, driving traffic. So it's the digital marketing part of it, and it's the operational component. So they don't really have the processes or the means to do standard online shopping, e-commerce, distribution, support. Those type of things. I don't know. I think you maybe, and just basically the expense of running an online shop, maybe, I think was the third. So it's money and it's time, and it's not really understanding, frankly, the how to do it part of it, are the primary problems. Did I capture that right?
Yes, spot on, definitely.
All right. So in that part of the survey, then the problem part of the survey, separate out each one of those problem statements. And again, think about it, like, don't put yourself in the mind of entrepreneur Hiten, put yourself in the line of small business owner who now needs to pivot very fast and get online, and and then what are my problems, and separate each line, each one of those is one problem. So separate the problems out into different statements.
Okay, definitely. We'll make a note of that.
Okay, thanks. And then the third part then is the solution part of it. And so I'm not looking for marketing speak here. I'm looking at just like broad areas of, and you've really sort of already said it, because it's almost, it should be kind of exactly counterpoint to what the problems are that the business is facing. But so what are the three major components of your platform that addresses the needs of this particular market segment?
So the first component is a low-cost online marketing platform that promotes your business profile, your products, and your services directly to the end customer. So it's nothing to do with us. It's all your business that's pitched out to the customer there. The second aspect is the logistics, last mile fulfillment part. We've got our partners who do that on behalf of stores, so you don't have to have that administrative burden to go and worry about finding a logistics partner to do delivery to your customer. And the last aspect is the digital wallet transactions that allow for the cashless transactions, purchases or refund mechanism. So if your customer, like I said, is unhappy with a product and says, you know what, I want my money back, you don't have to go through the burden of communicating, okay, what's your bank account details? Please send me a bank confirmation letter. Customers will be, sometimes hesitant to exchange such information in that aspect. So utilizing our platform to do the refund, so the customer is credited with that there. So there's no actual physical exchange of cash happening there. But the customer is still satisfied to say, I've got my money back, now I can go and use it again somewhere else.
Yeah, so I love that. So you answered that one super well. So go into that survey and, make it as concise as possible, but for each one of those areas of functionality, put those in there. And you can go more than 3, because I'm guessing you have more than 3. And one of the things that you want to be able to do is actually sort of rank those. And so in the end, what you're trying to do is correlate between your segment descriptions, problem statements, and which features people rank the highest. And in that way, you can start getting your head around who is my ideal customer and who should I be spending my time going after and trying to convert. And frankly, I think you ought to do it on both sides. In other words, you do this one survey that's for the small business side, and then you do a completely separate one for the customer side. And so the customer side is asking the same questions, but it's what are you, what are the problems and the ideal customer, and what will they perceive? Why will they come to this marketplace? What are they getting out of it? And the idea then is you get this URL and you'll share that out and you'll see what the results are. So make an iteration on that. And then, you and I can talk about it again. And then, I'd be super eager to get that out and see what the results look like.
Definitely, I'm definitely going to make those changes and amendments to narrow it down further.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so that sort of about wraps it up here for us today. I appreciate you coming on here and being willing to share all of this. I know it's often not the easiest thing in the world to put your baby on the line there, but you answered the questions well, and I think you're on your way. Yeah, so we'll follow up afterwards. But thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me, Brant. Much appreciated. Appreciate your time.
Hey, thanks for listening to Brant's Rant. If we're choosing capitalism here as a society, then let's make it work for a better world. If you'd like to join me as we redefine capitalism for the 21st century, go to beatcoop.co/D4A. Also, if you have a pressing issue that you're facing in your innovation group, your product group, your startup, and want to join me on video, see the link below. Subscribe, like, see you next time.